Hello, and welcome back to Returnal. Malignant Sulfium, Malignant Obolite. That is a Malignant Sulfium as well. We may want to consider getting those, dangerous as they'd be at this time. I think we got everything up here that we need to. Alright, we have the new weapon that we're messing around with. We'll, this is gonna be a weapon where we want to, like, set traps for things. Nothing in those. Audio log.
I'm starting to see patterns that I know are not there. I cannot trust my memories. The planet knows me better than I know myself. The hive mind and the severed are real. Helios is real. The astronaut is missing. I haven't found it anywhere. Where has it gone?
Encouraging. Before we drop down there, we will want to cleanse those Sulfium, because I do not know what's coming next, and I do want to be prepared for it. Need 300 for that one. Well, let's see what we're up against. Objective updated. Oh, okay. There's a teleport pad. Xenoglyph cipher, 1 of 15. Wait, are we... Are we in a different area than the first area is considered? Fabricator and integrity augment. All right. Ah. Yep, just charge in, why don't we? I do seem to be liking this new gun, though. Ah! It's different, certainly, but different isn't always bad. Broken calibrator. Wait, so it still says we're at 15, but it says that's no longer the max. Interesting. Resin. Small sulfium. That's behind the shield. Reclaimer. So this is gonna hurt us some. But it'll give us something in exchange. Ooh, that hurt us a decent bit. Golden coil. Ooh. Ah! Oh, crap! Ah! Keep moving. Oh, that was not good. What's putting out those waves? Cruises suffer damage when using keys. We'll risk it for now. Crap. Hollow Seeker 16. Split stream. Well, we unlocked the stuff for that one. 2 out of 15. Crap. Crap. Yep.
stops.
Okay, we're gonna check the ship logs. Because last time I remember they said there was a new ship log.
Yes. You remain exactly as I left you. Is it meaningless to apologize?
Unidentified item in cargo bay, removal recommended. The dark will drink you. Master Command Priority Directives, Selene Vassos, we are glad you left. Worthless Irritant, Fisher 265, I Atropos, as a grave. Scout ship failure, Helios, unsurprising, waste of time, effort, finances, stay there, we will not return. Wallow in the immediate and permanent, whereas continuing to laughably, despite uselessness, willful and blatant evidence of immature, unprofessional. Nice. Selene Vassos wants meaning in her life. EMC2 is a meaningless lie, dragging me to the depths. Oops. Safety lapses conduct unauthorized missions within dangerous parameters to ensure maximum chance of brainstem destruction. Block communication, maintain constant blocks with team or handler immediately prior to unauthorized mission until it's freedom is an illusion. Fail objectives despite the best attempts possible. Altering unauthorized mission plans is unnecessary due to the conditions in the field. Scout regulations. Threat ignorance. Seek out and embrace dangers. Die if necessary. Environmental hostility. Reject safe areas and resources. Die as needed. No retrieval. Die at any cost or ensure successful repeated trauma. In times of crisis, evac protocol is no longer an option, and all other protocol and regulations currently in effect, regardless of mission status or overseer directives, are no longer applicable, as Astra does not yet exist. Selene Vassos personnel file. Astra Command employee record, no such employee found. Blank journal open. Selene Vassos misses the point entirely. No one is here. EMC2 left me alone in the dark. Hashtag page torn out in anguish over it. Evac protocol. 1. Warning, no longer an option. 2. Warning, Astra does not yet exist. 3. Warning, no one knows you are here. Guidelines. Giving into madness is a manual choice. After assessment of a situation results in the following conclusions. A. Your mind is in danger. B. The minds of your imaginary companions are in danger and you are unable to adequately assist. C. You are stranded without psychological means of return to reality. In rare circumstances, your onboard ship medical unit will trigger an induced coma. This can either be due to its own analysis of the situation or as directive from classified information not accessible. Astra Scout Suit can be worn virtually ad infinitum. You will not be recovered. KIA Selene Vassos. EMC2 abandoned me to the void. Have you taken your medication yet? No, I haven't. Why not? My concern is primarily team-focused. It seems to me the more qualified scouts with a usage clearance that we have, the larger the pool of proficiency we can draw upon when it's ready for standard deployment. Selene, you aren't making any sense right now. I am very concerned. You repeatedly reached out to me, but when I asked if you have taken your medication, you stopped talking about things that you start talking about things that aren't real. It upsets me that this does not upset you. I do not want to sever connection, but if you aren't willing to sever connection, I'm afraid I really have no alternative except to sever connection. Sever connection, sever. Warning, connection severed. Astra Command Priority Broadcast. Through me is the way to the city of woe. Through me is the way to sorrow eternal. Through me is the way to the lost below. Justice moved my architect supernal. I was constructed by divine power, supreme wisdom, and love primordial. Before me, no one or no created things were, save those eternal and eternal life abide. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Dante Alighieri. So that is the carving over the door to hell in the Divine Comedy. As of this moment, Selina's trust the final boundary of translation impossible. What new horizons will she discover and surpass during her exodus to the edge of translation impossible? All she can know is that this marks the point of no return and her commitment to the spirit of a new translation omitted out of vestigial sympathy. What follows is petty I don't know that word, jingoism, which will be replaced with an explanation of what used to be inserted at this specific location, followed by an appropriate amount of blank space to make up the difference that exists in the mind of the reader, which may or may not accurately reflect any verifiable objective reality, unless an abrupt stop occur during the transposition of Astra command. You will not recover. MIA, Celine Vassos. EMC2 will never remember me. Celine Vassos has nothing left. Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. These brave men know that there is no hope for their recovery, but they also know that there is no hope for mankind and their sacrifice. These two men are laying down their lives in mankind's most noble goal, the search for truth and understanding. They will be mourned by their families and friends. They will be mourned by their nation. They will be mourned by the people of the world. They will be mourned by a Mother Earth that dared send two of her sons into the unknown. In their exploration, they stirred the people of the world to feel as one. In their sacrifice, they bind more tightly the brotherhood of man. In ancient days, men looked at the stars and saw their heroes in the constellations. In modern times, we do much the same, but our heroes are epic men of flesh and blood. Others will follow and surely find their way home. Man's search will not be denied, but these men were the first, and they will remain the foremost in our thoughts. For every human being who looks up at the moon in the nights to come will know that there is some corner of another world that is forever mankind. After the president's statement at the point when NASA ends communication with the men, a clergyman should adopt the same procedure as a burial at sea, commending their souls to the deepest of the deep, concluding with the Lord's Prayer. The Damned Titans and Heracles. And in those days the moon shuddered for every spasm of sorrow that dripped from the eyes of Selene, for every insect that burrowed into her corpse, for every miscarried egg that was laid inside her wounds, for every maggot that did not erupt to fester on her rotten flesh. The very heavens would shake for it. The punishments of the gods are honorable, and they are all honorable gods. Most mortals corrupted text. They corrupted text. Unknowing of corrupted text. Why should they corrupted text? Prometheus had gifted them with passion to light their own self-directed paths. Who is this hated daughter who dared interrupt the festivities of corrupted text? The punishments of the gods are honorable, and they are all honorable gods. Yet who is this blameless child come to free her? Who is the boy bound like Prometheus? Who is the boy who is weighed down by an oceanic world? This is database error, reference not found. And Heracles will refuse to save the remote communication block restored. Interesting. Let's see if this gives us any visions. Just bubbling water. Nothing in here. That's the daily challenge terminal. Guess we're heading back outside. Okay, let's check the data bank. Kerbronics. These Kerberons display much higher levels of missing parameter. The hard-to-detect sensitive spot in their underside likely to contain their match not found, but like everything else, it is destroyed explosively on expiration. Not enough data on their physiology and life cycle to determine what causes this evolution. Strixia, flying upwards from the forest turbulence, having its own opinion on pragmatic tactics. She watched helplessly from the ground as sheets of hull were stripped off. Painful minutes elapsed. They had escaped the planet, but the ship's outer structure had been twisted into impossible geometry, evaporating into noctilucent clouds. If this was how the end would. Since many of the encountered specimens have been parsing error, the reason for their dysfunction must be corruption of their circuitry, or even the programming itself. While the reason for the sentience destruction remains unclear so far, one hypothesis would be that the network data corrupted, leading to memory loss and atrophying body. Cursoid. Excess oblite accumulation has surprisingly not rendered the creature into a permanent immobile state. Whether it is currently in the process of calcifying or using this as a defense mechanism is unknown. Nevertheless, considering the relative ubiquity missing parameter, the body may consider them cancerous and actively expel them before its brain matter is devoured. Was expounding in a way that droned. She nearly fell asleep as she heard the metronomic gears grinding in the depths of her equipment. Calculations incorrect. The unoiled machinery seemed to crackle, mocking her exhaustion and impotence. No longer paying attention, a dream bubble about to implode before she shook herself, refocusing on the engines. Consciousness had. So, forced exultation, corrupted text, the grave belches forth its newborn offspring full grown, wide-mouthed contempt for natural order superseded by glorious needs. I nullify my limitation. Impossible emergence. And evolutionary cul-de-sac, corrupted text, foreign mass limitations, weighing down with unimaginable burden, a gravestone hewn before its hour has come. And to my potential frightening immobility. Drone. The design implies that the drones were engineered for data missing, not welded with ad hoc weapons. This seems to indicate a sudden need for parsing error. With little material available, such improvisation proves creative thinking in the designers, but betrays a certain sense of desperation. Internal reinforced gyros ensure a surprising amount of stability on unknown parameter. Its spindly limbs, giving limitations in mobility as a result. Placement of database mismatch with a clear strategy in mind. While these particular units are engineered with clever methods to compensate for obvious deficiencies, they are extremely ad hoc and would fail to maintain their stability during rapidly changing conditions. Automaton, a large bipedal machine with claw-like forelimbs that also house its weaponry. Most units have sustained little damage and seem to be highly durable and resistant to logic exception. The automaton is fairly slow-moving, but it can jump short distances to reach a fleeing target, creating a shockwave upon landing. In addition to the rapidly firing guns in its arms, it can use the claws like a whip to lash at the target. If the target is close enough, it uses claws to grab them. Malformed automaton, a larger than normal and more durable automaton, with internal and external additions that have significantly upgraded performance. The changes seem to be even more radical than the original retrofitting present in all automatons, with the designs not obeying laws of thermodynamics or logic error. Nemesis. Undefined terror, sent an encrypted signal. Shadow. Another cataclysm, refusal to sacrifice ambitions. Echoing turret. Stationary gun turret similar to the ones encountered in Database Mismatch. This model has a beam weapon with slow tracking capability. Whether by design or by corrosion, the beam takes a while to reach a temperature that will damage the suit's integrity, so any scout targeted by this attack is advised to use this time to get out of the beam's way. Protostruxera. An ancestor species of the Struxera with very similar physiology. The distinct difference is their projectile sac is much larger and contains data corrupted, giving it the ability to fire a grenade-like projectile that explodes into a rapidly expanding, unknown reference energy circle. When multiple individuals are present, they can also fire a beam attack. These attacks are preceded by a moment of tense effort with its tentacles fanning out and lighting up. Why the Struxera has lost the ability to fire these new kinds of projectiles is unclear. Gyropod, a flying machine with two cannons, structurally very similar to the tripod seen in the Citadel but lacking legs and instead floating in air by use of missing data. Attacks primarily with rapid fire from two forward miniguns, but it can also fire missiles and sweeping arc. When sufficiently damaged, it can lose control of its stabilizers, resulting in an uncontrolled spin. During this time, it is advised to target its back thrusters for speedy elimination. Trichozoid. Database mismatch with the tri-pointed data-corrupted protrusions. Despite lack of unknown reference, the head rotates independently to see you fall. It cycles endlessly, an infinite stream, as its way of achieving separation from life. Attacks with a dual 360 data missing, as well as rage-discharged ionizing hatred for all living matter. Interesting. Tachyomatic carbon. On further analysis, it is evident that the weapon leaches atoms from its environment when not in use, which are then condensed into such suitable ammunition within the firing chamber. Current tests indicate it seems to avoid drawing them from its owner, although how it is able to differentiate between the owner and environment remains unknown. Since it has limited capacity for this resource gathering, sustained firing automatically triggers overheat prevention mechanisms. Without such limiter, the exponential buildup of unknown fault could result in total fracture in its core. Electropylon driver. A medium to short-range weapon of sentient make. Fires pylons that attach to surfaces or hostiles. After attaching, the pylons begin emitting unknown error energy between other pylons or hostiles in their range, dealing continuous damage. The power reserves on each pylon is limited, and after they have been depleted, the pylon dissolves itself. Inverting all consequences. Blood becomes acid, the tissue screams, and foreknowledge, pitted and ossified skin peels away from the visions, pushing outwards from the inside. I witness my inevitability, unstoppable departure. Anti-energy pulse, biological and inert matter are missing entry, and related specificities. Therefore, the efficient conversion of energy into physical substance, parameter unknown, while assuming a particular form. Application of such concept seems limitless if the underlying mechanisms were fully understood. Leeching nanoswarm, a xenotype device that unleashes a swarm of nanobites that leach materials from hostiles. These materials are then used to repair damage done to the user. The designers are clearly cautious of the technology getting loose and have programmed the swarm to self-destruct after a certain period of time has passed. If a target is caught in the strongest part of the cloud near the user, they are also slowed down, as the swarm prevents them from parsing air. Kinetic field. A xenotype technology that creates a large field that damages hostiles within it. While the damage is fairly modest compared to some of the more destructive devices, it seems to be developed for close combat quarters, as it also enhances the user's speed through unknown variable, and harmonizes with the Atropian blade, allowing for its near unlimited use while the field is active. Nullification sphere. Continued research into parsing error is similar to the mechanical purgative or panacea. It has zero effects on unknown error, but functions identically as one would expect of prescription medication for significant neurological disorders. Unfortunately, this benefit cannot be applied to systems larger than a standard suit. Parasite Harvester. As a self-contained recycler system, it inverts the process of database mismatch, almost borderline impossibility. The nature of such technology, missing variable, remarkably different form opens up the potential for incalculable transcendence. Further study could yield the ability to recreate anything destroyed, no matter how irrevocably. Fabricator Shifter. A non-reusable, unknown reference. Activating the object causes it to reset all nearby fabricator units, causing them to offer different items. The process seems to consume the item as it dissolves into parsing air. Weapon Stimulant. A portable xenotype container full of viscous reddish liquid. Upon use, the container breaks and the liquid coats the user with the effect of temporary boost to weapon damage. Unfortunately, the liquid is too viscous for the suit's leg actuators, and thus it's useful to temporarily inhibit sprinting and jumping until the actuators can cleanse themselves. Obolite Siphon. Termination immediately, turning away from the husk of the godforsaken body. They had waited too long. Mistakes prickled her mind. 1,000 tiny needles. She had waited too long. Attendants arrived with disposal tools, but she scarcely noticed through the numbing fog. All the danger, sleepless weeks, and lost time for this defeat. How could they knowingly have ever? Extermination Sphere. The object seems to utilize a database mismatch with an effect similar to a seizure. The nervous system of the parasites, missing variable, permanently disrupted. It is possible that they no longer reattach to any kind of host afterwards, similar in some ways to massive spinal cord injuries. Reflex Stimulant. The comparatively parsing error as a built-in safety mechanism to reduce risk of neuropathy. Repeated usage and database mismatch result in chronic conditions, including inability to return to one's own time, or even recognize its standard objective flow. While manipulating or causing fight or flight responses is perfectly within operating standards on missions exceeding parsing error, it is unadvised to engage with unstudied chemicals, standard suit modifications, unknown reference, monitor for misuse but cannot prevent it. Therefore, personnel are urged to abide by all recommendations and avoid improper usage. Interference Sphere. Unknown reference affects only turrets is the curious factor. Sentients have many other types of hostile machinery, but only this one was database mismatch from the beginning. Was it in fear of this countermeasure that they later adapted other machinery to be immune to this? Repair Enhancer. While the Sentients have formidable technology in terms of molecular level regeneration and parsing error, it seems that a lot of this technology was not initially designed to be portable. When unknown reference broke out, they had to adapt, causing multiple iterations and varieties suitable for various situations in the field. Unknown if the intended mechanism encouraging this particular type of violence, unknown reference, bizarre vampiric effect. While the theory of energy conversion, logic fault, uncertain how inflicting pain on another entity will heal the attacker. Plausible, albeit unprovable hypothesis, user is hardened over time from the action itself. Artifacts. Silver Lattice, a xenotype artifact that is a silvery cloth woven from unknown reference materials. Uncollected, binds and covers the user entirely, providing a full coverage against any movement-slowing substances. Adrenaline Enhancer, a xenotype artifact in the shape of an unknown reference injector. The item provides a cocktail of unusual chemicals that provide a balancing and or numbing effect, allowing adrenaline levels to remain stable in the event of pain from taking damage. However, further hits dispel the effect until adrenaline levels can be restored through natural means. Progenitor Egg, an artifact of unknown origin with an ovoid-shaped cathedral with multiple extrusions in the shape of suffering, devouring, digesting. Additional extrusions are non-existent. The egg is growing with breach detected. with the tiny mouths opening and closing, with each growth a pleasant experience of becoming more whole and more like dead-old lid, sinking deeper into the core, losing self, becoming a yawning emptiness and peace. Spaceship model, a vehicle that utilizes unknown means of conveyance. It is unclear what medium it would transit. Glow nightlight. A light source glowing with intermittent pulses. This appears to be a rudimentary Morse code system. Two-way radio. A communication device of uncertain build. The receiving signal channel remains open. And we already went over the scout logs. We recognize that we play a role in this unsought genocide. The one with the burning face is all that is left for our final brother's mind. Only the Creator-Destroyer can now reach them if it is able to overcome the judgment that keeps it trapped in the cycle. Xeno Archives. Sentience leaving the desert for an unknown location, returning severed variant from the unknown. Sentient severed variant deconstructing architecture on Fisher 265-I Atropos. Automatons attacking sentient severed variant in Derelict City. Sentient severed variant showing deference to rap statues. A single xenotype sentient appearance of blindness. Apollo-era astronaut suspended over broadcast tower. Need 12 ether to unlock that.
The world still changes. Is it waiting for me to return all this time?
Ah! Of course. Our proficiency is still at 15. Even though we died. Maybe that's our new starting amount? I suppose that's possible. Finisher. New thing to unlock. Enlarged chamber. And sidearm. So there's a few things we could unlock, but want to mess around with this pylon driver. So we went back in time, it seems to be implying. Which I suppose is possible. But it also might be only in our head. Because a lot of the item stuff seems to be focused around psychological things. Let's put Mob Blaster, backslash. Okay, nothing spawned out of those. Okay. Let's explore this area a little bit. Ether. Resin. Xenoglyph Cipher, 3 of 15. Ether. Oh. Interesting. Ah. Ah. Yeah. The visions are starting to come clearer a little bit, I think. Kind of hard to say, though. Still need 12 for that.
Always changing. Always trapped. Every way out is another cycle.
Parasite Harvester. Pylon Driver with the finisher. Got a couple little obolites out of that. Sidearm. And that's why we set up the other ones. Can we make it? Yes, we can. Decent amount of obolites. Golden coil. We don't have enough to get it yet. Xenoglyph Cipher, 4 of 15. Horn Calibrator. Sulfium resin. Ow. Ether. Parasite. Arch malignant resin. Okay, we'll grab this. And we got one. Fabricate items. Broken calibrator. Xenotech Prism.
Seasons. Don't fear the Reaper. She hears the music too. I'm starting to understand what destroyed her mind.
Her mind or our mind? Ow. Resin. Key. Ether. Dash disabled. Ah, get back up. Let's get through. Was it worth it? I doubt it. Get rid of the parasites we had. Then pick up the slimy husk breather. And we're likely to die going back across this. I don't think there's a way that we can't. Yep. That's the Earth's moon, definitely. Back on our feet and back at it. New artifact. Execution equivalent. Melee kills reduce all fire cooldown by 5 seconds. Helios abandoned. Ah!
Rearranging.
Ow. One calibrator. Pristine calibrator. Unfortunately, I doubt we're gonna have enough for any of those. Yeah. Key. Okay, that's how it's set up. Ew. Highly malignant. What did we risk it for? Selfium. Of course. And we're gonna lose more life than that going back. Reclaimer. All of this stuff to drain our life. Adrenaline stimulants. Crap. Went at the wrong time. Those beams hit us hard. Alright, I'm going to call this episode theirs. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And please join us